And we are back with another Midnight Milk podcast. I hope you are all so very excited for tonight. I know I am, and so is Zenith here. Say hi.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, we didn't have a podcast last week, but that's completely fine.
I
We were
have
both,
fever.
yeah, Zenith was dying. His temperature was in the triple digits,
Yeah.
not very safe for
It
podcasting.
wasn't like hospital worthy, but it was like bad.
Yeah, no, he was in the double digits, triple digits, 205 fever, but
It was a 102.
no, 205.
Okay.
But
So I resurrected this week, by the way.
yeah, he came back
Mhm.
from the dead.
Yeah.
And now we're here with another Midnight Milk podcast.
Yeah. So for some reason, I had said actually before Storm had made me play Rainbow Six Siege today, I was looking through my notes and Storm was like, "You put parasocialism in there twice." And I was like, "Huh, must have been high." But that was a joke. That was a joke. But I was like, okay. He's like, we got pretty interesting topics for that. So today we're talking about social media because that always sounds like a fun one to talk about.
Yes,
So,
especially in today's day and age where
yeah,
social
yeah.
media is what controls the world.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, do you have a starter for us?
Yeah, I guess so. I think we've all very sorry. I just saw a first time chat. Hi, chronically online people.
We will
will
get there. Yeah,
We will get
we'll,
there.
we'll get on the topic of Reddit.
We'll get.
We'll
be
get
there
to Reddit.
eventually. We'll get to Twitter and Reddit.
Yeah.
But I think we've all, at some point in our lives, have had some sort of experience with online. Like you've all had an online presence, whether it just be through like an Xbox or
Thank you
a
for the
Google
follow.
account. Yes, thank you for the follow. But I think we've all had some sort of interaction with other people that are not in front of us.
Yeah.
And I think everyone would say that unless it was like VRC as your first time, I would say it was pretty enjoyable.
The fact that you're watching this podcast means that you have an online presence. So
Exactly. And honestly, I think even just like listening to podcasts or watching Twitch or like anything like that, you kind of gain like a parasocial relationship in the sense that like
even if you don't want to,
yeah, unless you don't want to. But getting heartburn.
you're actively learning about the person, like as they just talk in general.
Yeah. So you learn everything about this person, or well, from what they tell you at least, and you have to move on from that point. But I mean, you're learning about some new person's life, so you're living vicariously through them.
That's a big word.
Biggest example is Moist Critical. That guy, all he does is really just talk about life experience.
I mean, I guess.
So you're just learning a new perspective. But
well,
that's what I mean.
I would say better examples would be something like Dream or like Markiplier or something like those big YouTubers that people like.
Yes.
Is when like people involve their lives into these people, or here's a better one, like woman Twitch streamers, where people involve their lives. Yeah, I told you we're getting to Reddit. People involve their lives around these like people they have never met before. And they have no idea these people exist, right? That are watching the channel. Like they've never met this person in their life, but they just like are emotionally attached to them every single day, which is called like a stan or something, but a super fan or whatever, which basically means you have something you probably need to talk to your therapist about. But
probably yes, hot tub streamers are really big.
Yeah.
Amaranth.
And it's crazy to think about of like how much you dedicate. Like friends are great and all, but and you can spend your time with this one person, like being involved with them, and that has to be a really strong relationship. Except for the part where they have no idea that you
don't even exist.
Yeah, that's kind of wacky to think about.
But that's like the more obsessive and chronic users.
Yeah, Redditors.
Yeah, Redditors and Twitter users. Ugh, scary. But I think that a lot of people, like especially people in this chat right now, like you've all talked to people on Discord or maybe what's some other social platforms?
Like Instagram, Snapchat.
Yeah, or Xbox party chats.
Siege chat.
I know some of my first experiences were through Modern Warfare 2019. Oh my
It's more like
god.
Minecraft or something. It was like a friend of a friend, and I met an entire like group of people, and I just played Minecraft with them, and they're like 20 something. I don't even remember. I don't know how I got there. And I was like, hey, I can build pixel art, and I built them a little Taco Bell like logo on top of their Taco Bell. We were not Gmod kids. We didn't play Gmod.
No, I played Gmod. I have
didn't.
like over 400 hours on Gmod.
I have like 2. Maybe no, I probably have like 20.
But I did not play on any of like the Dark RP servers. I didn't go on any servers. I just played by myself.
400 hours by yourself?
Okay, and sometimes with my other IRL friends.
What were you doing?
Just messing around.
Yeah, I got Gmod. Not like I didn't know about it when like people were doing that weird stuff. I saw YouTuber making funny things. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I downloaded it, never played it, and then like some of my friends were like, oh, I love Gmod, and then I played it with them later.
I got into Gmod because of why does it make so much sense that Storm is a Gmod kid? I'm not that much of a Gmod kid.
400 hours, not that much.
Okay, that's fair, but
well, not like compared to 400 hours.
not anymore. But yeah, no, I had over like 800 mods. No, I think it was like 400 to 500 mods.
Yeah.
On Gmod. I just a couple of months ago, I uninstalled all of them, and I got like 60 gigs back.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I got so many gigs back.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Parasocialism.
Parasocial relationships. One YouTuber that I know especially has like confronted this was a YouTuber named Quite.
Yeah.
He's talked about that a lot, and people will be like, "Oh yeah, Quite is my comfort streamer," or yada yada yada. And then some people are like, "Oh my god, I love you, Quite.
Yeah.
I love you so much." And he's like, "Okay, tone it down a second."
You know, okay. So there's the people who fall in love with like these like online personalities, right? And then there's also these people who, again, these YouTubers have no exact like idea these people exist, who hate them, like obsessively hate them. Right? Obsessively hate this person. Usually, if it's like a child YouTuber or something, they obsess about it. And some other YouTubers make videos about, oh, how annoying this person is, right? Even if that YouTuber never even sees that other video, right? And they just talk about how annoying this person is like night and day, and it's just like that's another type of obsession. And I think we're gonna be talking about obsessions a lot, maybe.
Who was that one child YouTuber, or like 14-year-old, 15-year-old?
The one they were like they like did like Minecraft TikToks. Jellybean.
Yeah, Jellybean. That's what it was. I was just indifferent.
I thought, oh, it's a kid, and then I moved on with my life. I saw one video about someone talking like trash about it, and I'm like, dude, they're just like
just playing Minecraft.
Yeah, leave them alone.
Fuck, like I don't know, like it depends on why you're hating on someone. But like in the sense of Jellybean, that was absurd.
Most of the time, people are hating on other people for dumb reasons. And like when it comes to the internet, and of course I've been in that stance because I do have emotions. But like I've been in this situation where I just like hate over someone that I have no idea about, like that, you know, they have no idea that I exist. I'm like, oh, and then it fills me with rage, and it lasts the longest for about a week because I have a sanity. But and this happens with like just online people in general, online friends, people in real life, where that is the type of obsession where you don't understand that if you hate someone so bad to the point where you're thinking about them night and day, and it really gets you going, like that is, you're obsessed with them. That's what that is. It's and obsession doesn't have to be like head over heels in love with someone. There's multiple different types of obsession, and it's just kind of crazy to think about. Like if you hate someone that bad, why are you obsessing over them?
That you're willing to spend countless hours like
thinking about them like a crush, like a celebrity crush, or just, I mean, it's the same idea but a different emotion.
Yeah. And you can find that everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Every corner of the internet. which I mean is very present with our conversation, the media topic. But I think we're gonna spend most of our time towards like social experiences that we've had and what we've seen just through the internet.
Yeah.
What was some of like the first experiences that you had when it came to having an online presence and
You think
being
I
on the media?
remember? The first time I had Discord, I'll start off with that because Discord has a bad rap, first of all, which, like, oh, there's all of these terrible people on there, which there is. I agree with that. But I didn't use servers for the longest. I still don't use servers. I don't call in servers. And with the way I was introduced to servers, which is mainly where all this stuff happens, it's like big YouTuber servers, right? Is when I had a bunch of friends and they had like, from VR chat, right? They had hundreds of other like friends on their friends list and friends of friends come together, right? So it's a big server of like hundreds of people, and then you all get in because you can't have more than 10 people in a group VC, right? That's what I was used to, which, if you think about it, is like iMessage, but on a computer. That's what I was used to. And I was like hearing all these bad things. I'm like, how does that happen? Like, why don't you talk about when iMessage does that,
Yeah.
But yeah, all that stuff normally happens when like YouTuber comes in, a lot of kids click on link and they all join in this space, and then someone goes, ooh, I know a lot of kids would click on this link, and bad stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I got Discord just to like call Jason on my computer. That's about it. Now I did start off on Xbox, but I only contacted like IRL friends on Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
So
Mine was like either IRL friends for a little bit, and then relatives that would
Yeah.
like want to play Xbox with me.
I
then it
never met
moved
like anyone
to-
online besides that like Minecraft experience,
The first time I really had an online presence, especially on games. By the way, I'm very sorry, I'm eating right now,
Ugh.
but never be as bad as the first podcast. I've got my pizza rolls. How?
I don't know how I did that and just like didn't notice. I had a headset mic, that's why.
It was so loud.
You didn't say anything about it.
I didn't. I was like, oh, this is funny. And then I was like, oh yeah, wait, this is going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Anyway. But I remember I started playing on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 when that new remastered coming out. Trying to play VR chat, hearing the eating.
Yeah.
Yes. But I started out playing things like normal team deathmatch, and I didn't have a mic at the time, but I'd always listen to people talking, and I was like, oh my god, I want to be hanging out and talk. I think I was in 8th grade at the time.
Ooh, okay. Oh, I remember my first online presence. Go on.
It was either 7th or 8th grade. I want to say it was 8th grade though. But I got into this clan, or like this group of people, and we were so fucking good. I don't know why we were so good, but we were great. What?
What game?
Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Oh, of course.
2019. And
you were a Call of Duty kid.
I was a Call of Duty kid. I wish I would have been like Modern Warfare 2 days, but that would be, I think I'd be like 8 years old.
Jesus.
You guys are trash. Stop playing. Get off the game.
Just like Call of Duty friends. I wasn't because I didn't have a working mic. Like I didn't meet people on there, so it wasn't really like I had my one friend who played Call of Duty. That's it. And that doesn't
Oh
get
my
very
god.
far,
It was so funny though, because I was playing with these guys before my balls dropped.
Yeah.
So these people literally like heard me grow up. But before that, I was this tiny little squeaker kid. Guys, he's on B. Go to B. Go get him. He's on B. He's planting the bomb right now.
It's so weird to think about.
One of let's see, and they were all like either from my age, which was like 14, I think, like 13, 14, something around there.
Yeah.
And then all the way up to, I think, one of my clan members, his name was Stepdaddy Steve.
Ah.
and I think he was like 25,
Oh,
30.
and that was his username.
Stepdaddy Steve. He had
That's
a daughter.
fantastic.
He literally had a daughter.
That's
But he was super.
fantastic.
He was super cool though. Like honestly,
I'm
pretty cool.
sure he was.
Pretty cool dude.
That's it.
Yeah.
I have a whole
Basically.
ramble. Okay, so Roblox. Here's where I started.
Oh
And
god.
specifically. Okay, I had a few friends here and there, right? Like I'd play like hide and seek games or some shit like that. And I found like one guy, and I don't remember. I think his name was Footsud or something like that. And
Footsud.
that was It was like it had one vowel in it. So it was like I'm assuming he smashed his keyboard, and that and that was the name that came out. But I had to be third grade when I had that friend. And I didn't know him at all. Like I rarely messaged him. I just joined him when I had the chance. That was about it. But after that, fourth grade, I played this game called Wolf's Life. No, I'm not a furry, but
no, man.
I had met like a couple people on there, and then we just moved to Discord, and then we like played like different like games on there. Like we played like Minecraft together or whatever. And I just had like my own group of friends there from all the way from fourth grade to like seventh. I had that friend group.
What?
Fourth to like sixth or seventh, something like that. And I mean, it was a while, and then I had like stopped talking to them just because I don't know. Like we were all around the same age, which is kind of weird to think about of like how we ended up all in like the same like
right
year younger, year older, and we'd all met on Roblox, like completely not knowing each other. I don't know. That's crazy to me. But and then my next after that, I had to be in 8th grade. I started playing VR Chat 2019. It was 7th or 8th. Yeah. So it was 2019, and this was before my balls dropped. And so and this is gonna be the story of how I have like an online voice, right? So because I don't have an accent on its own. I don't have an accent.
That's right.
Sometimes, right, here is base. This is how I talk in school to my family, right? Sometimes in the podcast, the accent slips in. It's just how I talk in front of a computer. I'm used to it. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, and I'm about to tell you. But
I wonder what your reason was.
No, I'll tell you. When I was 12, anytime I ever had released air from my vocal tubes, shut up kid was the immediate response that had came back, right? I was not able to make any friends.
Yeah.
So what I had tried to do is I tried to deepen my voice, right? So I'd figured out how to drop my voice down an octave, because I was 12, but I also had early childhood maturity. So people thought I was a 17-year-old female. And that's not a fun situation to be in. So I didn't want to be a 17-year-old female anymore. I wanted to be a man.
I wanted to be a man.
And I figured out that if you force your voice to go deeper, an easier way to hold it down there is with an accent.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I had developed this voice, and anytime I do it in front of IRL friends, they say that's cringe. Shut up! I don't want to hear it anymore because they've seen my face, right? And it just doesn't match at all. But online it sounds perfectly fine, I guess. But I had then joined like the Undertow community like later in 2020, right? And I had worn a lot of a particular skeleton avatar, and so when I did that voice, people would go, "Whoa, nice Sans impression." I would go, "I am speaking." But
I am talking.
Ever since I've worn that avatar, I wore it a lot, right? I had done that voice. And that voice had sounded like this, right? And so when I was 12, this was the sound that came out of my mouth. Now, I'm not exactly like this, but it's like, now it's pretty close to my actual voice. It just kind of, they like combine together. But if you see my face before, it sounds terrible. Like it just like, stop talking. You make me want to gouge my ears out kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, ever since then, that's how that voice, like how my accent came to be. But yeah, I had met I met To Be Named. He's been my longest friend. In just like random public lobbies in VR chat. And then I had met a couple people off of him, but the only person I kept on talking to was To Be Named. And then later on in the Undertale community, I had met Heavenly Twister, Dilly Goat, and they have a
lot of the bigger names at the time.
Yeah, they had a particular online presence at the point, and that's where I had met people like Bones. So I had to be 13 at this time when I met Bones, right? It was like it was Christmas 2019, I think. And I had met him, and we started playing games like GTFO together. And there is a clip out there where of my voice before my balls had dropped, where my voice shoots up like a skyrocket when I had screamed because I saw a monster, right? And that clip's out there, and he has it saved on his computer.
I see the boogeyman.
So yeah, insert in Bones and Dilly Goat are the few people who knew what my voice sounded like before my balls dropped. They're not going to remember what it sounded like, but they knew me back then, you know.
That reminds me of whenever they heard my balls drop.
Yeah, what you met them?
I mean, all my online friends and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because again, they had heard me before when I was in 8th grade. So I'm this like petite little boy with like no balls whatsoever. I love using that adjective. But, you know, I was I wouldn't say young at the time, but I definitely sounded super young. And so please send it. No, I don't think you're ever going to get that.
I might send it just in the Midnight Mode podcast general.
Please. Please.
It's a sacred clip, though. It's only preserved for certain people's ears.
Oh, I need to hear it. I need to hear it.
You've had to have seen the clip before.
No, I have not.
I'll ask like Insert if I'm sure Insert has it.
Please.
Anyway, go on.
Yes, I joined back after like 5-month hiatus from Xbox because this is back when this was before I moved to PC like fully. And I started playing more PC games, and I was just taking a break from Xbox in general. And I come back, and they're like, "Oh my God, Storm, where have you been? You've been dead for like who knows how long." And I go, "Hey guys, what's up?" And they go, "What? What?
That's hilarious.
And they just like all freaking out, as if I've just been kidnapped.
When you are male and you have testicles, and and you know people like online, even in real life, like, and you just haven't talked to them in a while, and you come back and they go, "Why does your voice sound so deep?" And you're like, "No, it doesn't," because your voice doesn't change to you really. You have the certain voice in your head. I still sound like I'm Aiden in my head, you know. I think I still sound like you know, like child. But
it took me so long to get that out of my head, though.
Why do I just have good mic settings?
Wait, hold on.
What? Don't. Please. Anyway, to some people, I sound like either like high teenager, like 17 to 19, or some people think I sound like 20-something, which is really weird. Oh, like if I move around, maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh my God, yeah, wait, it is doing that.
From ear to ear? That's
wait, what polar setting do you have your mic on?
Let me check. I don't want to like kill your ears on them. Oh, it is on ear to ear. Huh.
Which one is that? Is that far left, or is that like the two bubbles?
The two bubbles, yeah. But they're like interlocking, kind of. I didn't know that. I thought that was something completely different.
If you want mine, I put mine on the one that looks like a circle with like a little indent in the middle.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to put it on. But my mic's sideways, so I didn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, mine mic is sideways too.
Oh, well, anyway, I think ASMR is kind of funny.
It is. I was like, oh.
So, anyway, what were we talking about?
I was explaining my story.
Go on. Yeah, go on.
But when I was really little, I've always talked like this, right? Of course. Yeah. But once I got to school, like, and I was starting to talk to more people, they kept looking at me funny because of the way I talked. And I mean, I live in Kentucky, and everyone
Yeah.
has like a bit of a southern twang, and it
Totally.
mine sometimes shines through. But I heard the way they were talking and how different it was from me talking,
Hmm.
and I was like, this sounds weird.
Yeah.
And so over time, I slowly learned to just get rid of the accent to sound normal, and then people stopped looking at me differently.
Huh.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why whenever I'm around more IRL friends and whatnot, I talk more like this. But once I get back online or I'm at home and I'm just by myself, I'll usually talk like this. And this is usually how my inside voice sounds most of the time. But
We should
depending on
name it
who I'm
online
with,
presence. We should name it that.
yes,
Yes. Good title.
yes, good title
Genius
indeed.
concept.
Oh, real
Yeah.
figure.
Go on.
Um, but then once I got online, that this was just how I started talking because it's like, oh, I get to be comfortable here.
Yeah.
I don't have to fake it anymore. So it was a really nice change of pace to be able to talk freely and naturally.
Okay. I think at every hour mark during the podcast, or hour 10, I guess, because the 10-minute thing. I'm gonna talk about my dream that week.
Yes, that's so fun.
It'd be great. Okay. Anyway, I was the complete opposite because I don't have an accent, right? I have base American accent or whatever, you know.
Wait,
So
before you go
I'm
on,
trying. Hmm.
where the hell did mine come from?
You said you watched like Boston like TV shows.
I did,
Yeah.
but like how? Like my parents don't
You
have a
thought it
Boston
sounded
accent.
cool, so then you did it.
I guess I don't know.
That's just how you grew up talking. So
And I had like a solid year where I was just like, am I not normal?
yeah.
And I was like, and after that year passes, I go, yeah, I'm not. And then I just kind of like accepted it.
Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, so
Yeah, keep going.
online I have an accent sometimes, right? And sometimes you don't notice it, sometimes it's there. It's my brain auto does it for me. And I'm trying to talk as basic as I can right now. But in school I would talk normal, right? It'd only be online. But I think I had gotten sick and tired of people at school. And if you kind of notice when I put on my accent, it sounds more like fuck you energy, right? And that's kind of the point of like when I go back down here, right? When I'm using this voice or whatever online, and I'm just sitting down and I'm talking, I can say whatever I want and it sounds sarcastic, right? That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking to someone, I say "fuck you" in the most basic tone. You can't take it seriously, right? But if I'm talking to you and I don't feel like talking this way, and I switch to my base thing, but I'm still trying to be sarcastic, but I don't think about it, and it comes off as "fuck you." It sounds completely different. And so
It sounds
sometimes
like
I'm like,
so genuine.
yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean that. I was just like, I'm so used to being able to say that kind of thing, and it always coming off as sarcastic, right? But so when I'm talking in my normal tone and I do that, I'm like, oh, I didn't mean it that way. But anyway, I started going to school and I started slowly using that accent, just like, um, automatically, just because I wanted people to like screw off, I guess. And
Yeah.
so I started coming to school talking like this just to like piss people off. And uh well, not just so people would stop talking to me funny, I guess. It just gets people to go away. And so one day I didn't notice I was doing it, right? Until I came home one day to my parents and I was talking that way. They're like, why are you talking so nasally like what like that? I'm like, I'm not. I was like, oh shoot, I am. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, like this is just like how I talk. And they were like, well, it sounds disrespectful. And it didn't click either that like if I do that in front of my parents, it sounds like I'm being sarcastic to them. So that's no bueno.
Hold
So,
on. Who is this viewer that
it's
says
Inks.
who?
The which viewer?
The 11 NKZZ.
That's Inks. Yeah, for
Oh.
VR chat.
Oh.
Anyway, every time I'm talking to my parents, I gotta make sure I don't have that accent so I don't sound disrespectful.
Yeah, no, my parents have heard my balls drop, and when they weren't dropped, so they were just
Yeah.
kind of used to me coming home and
Well,
me
it
just
had
sounding
nothing.
completely different.
Yeah, it
to
had
like
nothing to do with my balls dropping. It was just something unrelated, I guess.
no, they are so used to like random days where my voice will just either be unnaturally high for some reason that day, like maybe I'm just like not feeling it,
You're
or
not
to the
feeling it.
days and then some days where I come home or I wake up and I sound like some 30-year-old man who's just broken into their home.
We have hundreds of friends from VR chat, Mason.
Oh my god. As in
Oh,
couch, what?
that was fast.
That was abrupt. Couch, are you okay? Do you need to talk?
Anyway.
Anyway.
Go on, as you were saying.
I completely got lost now. What was I talking about?
Parents coming home sounding different.
Oh, that's right.
I'll start talking. I'll take it from here. Me personally, I get that sometimes. Like you ever have like morning voices? You know, we'll talk.
You should hear me when I have a cold.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's really funny. So sometimes when I was sick, when I had my when I had the flu, by the way, it was like flu strain A or whatever. So it was like the worst type of flu or whatever. It sucked, and my voice it wasn't deep, but it was raspy. Like I was like I don't know. I was raspy, whatever. And it's really funny because I remember like unrelated to the flu, but one day I woke up with a morning voice, and so when I do the morning voice and I also slap on a fell impression, I guess only people will get this from VR chat because I'm not gonna do it, or I will. But I slap on the morning voice and the fell impression, and I say my famous the first thing I did when I woke up, I recorded my voice and I said my famous line, the only line I ever say is fell, and that's it. It's saved in my phone. You know the line? You know the line, Storm? I don't know if I can say it on the podcast.
I don't know. There's a lot of lines that I've heard from you over the years.
It's whenever I switch to fell, there's one line, the first line that always comes out of my mouth. What's the main reason people do fell impressions?
I don't know, man.
To like Redditors kind of vibe to, you know, Discord servers, going into the YouTube Discord servers.
Why don't you just say it?
I can't say it on the podcast, Storm.
Do you know my iconic line?
My iconic line, you know?
No, what, Zenith? I think you should say it on the podcast.
I can't.
Why not?
It's not family friendly.
Well, you know what?
We're a very family friendly podcast.
Make it family friendly. And now if you don't say it, people are going to start thinking things about you, Zenith.
YouTube edit?
What?
Can you beep it out on the YouTube edit?
I can.
I think that'd be hilarious, actually.
I can.
So this is a Twitch specific moment. You have to be live here to hear this line. No, every time I switch to fell, the only voice that comes out of my mouth is that's the first thing that I ever say. And the reason being is because the only reason people would do that impression is to because people are creepy. And that's the only reason they
okay. Don't worry about the weird timestamp that I put in there. That's so I remember where to go to.
Okay.
To bleep it out.
That's it. Don't say it.
I almost did.
Don't say it now. You can't do it. Yeah, it's my iconic line.
It's his iconic line.
Yeah.
Now, for the YouTube viewers,
I know Mason's iconic line too.
What's his iconic line?
You want me to put another timestamp?
Yeah.
It's that's it.
Oh. 49.
You have to beep it out, not because it's bad, just because it's funny.
Because we can't know everyone's iconic line.
Yeah,
they've got to hear it in person.
They got to hear it live. Anyway, we should go back to the topic of online presence.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think where we should start off is Twitter. I personally don't own any social medias besides like Discord and YouTube. So I have Snapchat and I text like one person on there, two, Jason and like Caden. But I text those two people, because they like just use that app more often. Other than that, I think it's really creepy, by the way. The fact that, first off, it doesn't save your messages, so you can't go back and look at message history. And second, everything you do on there, it sends to the other person. Like, I sent Jason a bunch of filtered pictures of me and just goofy pictures with all the filters, because that's the reason I got Snapchat in the first place, was for funny filters. And I said, hey, I found the filter feature. And I screen recorded all of the pictures I sent him, right? Because I thought it was funny. And it took 2 attempts, and it sent to Jason. Zenith has screen recorded 2 times. And I was like, why does he need to know that information? That is a completely unrelated add-on that you have to install to your phone. Why does Snapchat know that? And plus, like I ran into his sister at the mall when we were Black Friday shopping, right? And I was like, look who I ran into. And I sent him a picture of our sisters together, right? And it said, Jason has saved your picture. And I was like, I don't need to know that. Why do I need... Like, it's
and
just
then
like...
if you do it to the wrong person, they're always like, why did you screenshot this? Or why did you screen record this?
It's
and
like,
I'm like, bro, I pressed my mic, I pressed my volume up and home button.
Yeah.
On accident.
Oops.
Oopsie poopsie.
Like, it...
And then they like berate you.
It's so weird. Anyway, but...
I have almost all social medias. Or at least I've got an account.
You can add on to what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
I want to go to space. That's my end goal, and this is important. I'll tell you, it'll make sense in a second. I want to go to space, right? And every time someone asks me, "What do you want to do with your life?" I go, "I want to go to space." And their follow-up question is, "What do you think of Elon Musk?" Which is like, I don't know. I don't own Twitter. I know nothing about the guy. I know he made an N64 car, and I know he's rich. That is it. That's all. And I know that his dad had an affair with his stepdaughter.
Oh yeah.
That's all I know about Elon Musk.
And that's all you'll ever need to know.
And he has like a box build.
And he what?
He's built like a box, just like
he is.
You know. But that's it. Like, I don't know anything about his personality. Because I don't look him. I don't care. I don't look him up. Like,
well, only reason I really know about him is because we own one of his cars. So.
Oh wow. What is Tesla?
Yeah, Model 3. Pretty neat though, honestly.
Yeah, like I think Tesla's a cool car. That's great.
It is.
SpaceX is probably a great company too. But it's just, I'm like, I guess he's a controversial man. Because guess what? Rich people have very interesting minds. I do know a lot about Mark Zuckerberg because I own an Oculus Quest, right?
Yeah.
Which is really interesting, by the way, how Facebook doesn't exist anymore. Its name is Meta because of how much he is investing into the VR market and how his stocks had gone down literally like 78%.
I'm not rich.
He's been giving the bird to investors saying like, screw you guys, I'm doing my own thing. And then he bought out all of his competitors, so VR isn't fun anymore. And then he got a bunch of anti-practice or competitive practice lawsuits just like at his doorstep. Like, I know these things, and I know very well possibility that he's not human. But I know of these things because I own like one of his products, right?
Yeah. And so you're gonna get recommended videos of certain things that they're tied to.
Anyway, ergo, I watched Thrill Seeker.
Amen.
But he is a very interesting man. Rich people. But that's the most involved I've ever been in social media. That's like outside of Discord and YouTube.
But yeah, no, I've dabbled in almost every single form of social media.
Share our experience. Share your experience.
So my first ever experience was behind my parents' backs.
Uh-oh.
I had Discord in like middle school. But it was literally only for like friends, and that was it.
Knew what Discord was. I'm gonna be honest.
And I was just like, I was so afraid that they were gonna find out what I was using because they were just like, "Oh, no social media."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wasn't allowed to have social media either. I didn't count Discord though.
No, I did, and I was like, "Oh God, I can't have Discord, or they're gonna like beat me."
I didn't know
They
it was
would
a
never
social
do that.
media.
They
I
would
thought it was an
never do that.
iMessage. That's what I thought.
But and then I deleted it like a year later in like sixth grade,
Yeah.
and then I was like, for some reason, I hard set myself to never ever using any social media forever,
Yeah.
and it was partially because I was like, I don't need it. If I need it, then why don't? If you want to talk to me, message me. You have a phone number.
Mm-hmm.
And this was before I kind of remembered that, like, if you don't have minutes, or if you have minutes, that can get really annoying. So I can understand why you would do something like um Messenger or whatever, or like other social media, right?
Yeah. Message.
But anyway, I had Discord, and that was it. And then I got rid of it for like 3 years straight. But now, once I think like closer to eighth grade or so, I finally got it back, and it was only YouTube and Discord were the
Yeah.
only forms of social media that I had. But freshman year of high school was when it first started. When I went down
It's
the
when it
when I
all
went down the
starts.
I know, it's where all the rabbit holes went down. And by the way, I'm a junior now. But I got Snapchat the first day of school,
Mm.
which was crazy to me.
Why?
Because everyone else had it, and I was like, you know what? It's time for a change. Why not
Mm.
get it? And I was like, okay. And then I started using Snapchat. I had a couple of people, and I was in a group. One of the craziest things that happened that day, though, the first time I ever get Snapchat, the first picture I took was of when one of my friends in that class, his name is Liam, we were playing kickball, right? Indoors.
Mm-hmm.
Kicks the ball so hard, flies up above one of my friends, Brent. He was the goalie, or he was center, right? Or a pitcher, whatever you want to call it. And hits the light right above him.
Ah.
It bounces the light up off of its like hangers. So it's just hanging by the cord that like powers it, or its power cord, right? Glass falls down. Brent barely misses the glass. Barely knocks the power out to the whole gym.
Wow.
And the first picture ever is of just the singular hanging light in the gym. First ever picture on my Snapchat.
Mm.
Gotta
I got
say,
Snapchat because of the funny filters. That's it.
I didn't.
I didn't use it.
But later after that, after I've kind of dabbled in Snapchat, learned all the ways around it and whatnot, which I still don't know everything you can do on that damn app.
Mm-hmm.
I got Instagram. I got Instagram because I wanted to just look at cars all day.
Oh my god.
And now this was while I was still super strict against what's it called? TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know why, I just had the biggest grudge against TikTok.
I used to. I still don't have it, but I used to.
I have it now, but I'll get to that later. That's for a later time. But I got Instagram strictly for cars, and I would sometimes post on there like just what's randomly happening, or if I wanted to post, but I rarely post on my Instagram. I had a joke account where I'd post milk.
Huh.
Just the school's milk. That was it. And my friend had another page about pictures of people throwing the milk, and the milk being all over the ground.
That's pretty funny.
It was really nice. It was really cool.
Didn't you get a comment on like one of your milk pictures by Prairie Farms?
Dog, no, I didn't get a comment. I got liked. I got a like from Prairie Farms. Verified Prairie Farms liked my post.
That's so funny.
I'm among the high class. I'm among the few. I'm the 1%. I'm the 1%.
When you are 1% milk.
Yes, I'm the 1% milk. No, I'm whole milk, baby. Don't ever try me with that. Don't ever try me with that.
That is so funny.
But besides that little endeavor that I had with that Instagram, all my Instagram is just cars. And people are like, oh my god, do you look at anything else? And I'm like, I follow some people that I know, and that's it.
Yeah. Well,
It's very hot.
I got Snapchat because of filters, and then I kept it because my sister got her phone taken, and she wanted to use Snapchat because she couldn't live a day without it, and she needed her streaks. Um, and so I just stopped letting you use my phone one day. I don't. And then I installed Instagram because my sister got her phone taken away, and she needed to use Instagram. Um, and then I had TikTok when it was called Musically, and then it turned to
Me
TikTok,
too.
and then I uninstalled it. I got it because my friends had it. And then I
Oh,
like
don't
posted
talk
like
about
2 videos.
Musically.
And then I uninstalled it. And then I don't have it. And then I also uninstalled Instagram because I didn't use it. What else? I never had Twitter. I've never had Facebook like installed on my phone. I remember I had to use it once. I don't even remember why I had to use it. It was either Twitter or Facebook. I don't remember. And then I had to ask like my friends, like, how do I use this? I was like, it's so complicated.
For real, Twitter is unnecessarily complicated.
They're the same app to me. I don't think I have Reddit installed on my phone. And if I did, it was like a mindless download. Hold on.
Musically was way worse.
I don't think I even have a
TikTok.
Reddit account. No, I don't have Reddit on my phone. But apparently I have installed it before.
No, people that believe that Musically was better are wrong, and they should be killed for their heresy that they have spoken into this
Dang.
world. Musically was not a good place. That was a bad era.
I don't remember.
That was a bad time.
I remember it was cringe, but
Yeah.
what was I going to say? I forgot. Oh yeah. I think I installed Reddit once because like Jacksepticeye or something, and I wanted to like follow because I wanted to see the art people posted, and then I uninstalled it like a week after.
I have Reddit.
You would.
I don't
Reddit.
really use.
What's
I don't
What's
use
your
Reddit.
experiences with Reddit? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's just gonna be a yeah.
I've only heard horror stories. I've never actually seen terrible things on it.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no.
What?
That reminds me of a time my friend showed me a Twitter page.
Yeah.
It is some of the most vile content. I'm not going to describe anything.
What was it though? Like gore or
It was everything. It was everything. It was gore, but it was like it's not what you think it would be. Okay, you know the trend of people will like scoop out the center of peanut butter and make it look like they did something with that peanut butter?
Yeah.
Instead of it, it was a Nutella can, a Nutella bottle, right? Do you want to know what was in the Nutella bottle?
I don't want to know what was in the Nutella bottle.
Okay, then I'm not going to tell you what was in the Nutella bottle.
We're on a podcast here.
But let's just say this guy's was in the Nutella bottle, and he pulls the Nutella bottle off.
How do I get rid of? Oh, there we go.
And it is just filled with bugs.
Nice.
It was. That was one of many videos. One of many different types of videos.
Yeah, we have 7 minutes until Zenith's dream time. I want anyone who can make art in here. I want there to be a competition, if anyone's listening, for a drawing of like a small little animatic of Zenith dream time, like we have our intermission.
Yes, can someone please?
I want a different page of Zenith Dream Time.
Can we get like
maybe a drawing of like my character sleeping or something in bed?
No, it needs yes, but it like needs to have like an arch on the top that says Zenith's Dream Time.
Yeah, and
or
then it's like
Dream Time. Yes,
there's Z's or like there's a thought bubble or something. We need that.
And then you just put like random little pictures that fade in and out.
Yeah, I'll send so not during this podcast, but after this podcast, I'll send a picture, or actually, I'll just make it like an announcement or something. Just sending a picture of like references.
Yeah, make it a contest.
Yeah, make it a contest, and then it'll
And
be open until next podcast.
yeah, and just for everyone to know, we will choose a winner, but everyone that sends art will be shown at some point on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll just like show it on the podcast or something.
Now we do suggest that
show it. We'll show it during next Zenith's Dreamtime.
Yes, next Zenith's Dreamtime. We will show all of your art if you decide to make any.
Yeah.
Now we do ask that you put your watermark or you put your signature somewhere on there, so that way people do not take credit for it.
Yes.
We want everyone's art to be credited properly, and we will probably put your username of whoever made it above it, if that's okay. If not, just say something.
Yeah.
And in this contest, what we will do is you will send your art in a new channel that we'll probably make and put it in art contest or something like that. And once next podcast starts, we will vote on who we think is the best. And if you are okay with it, it might become the intermission screen for Zenith's Dreamtime.
Yeah. Anyway, we won't do an intermission screen for this one, but we have 4 minutes. So, what's 4 minutes talking worthy?
I was just gonna say that all the details will be posted in the announcements for the contest. And if you want to enter, just go right ahead and make a little doodle and send it that way.
Or just an animatic or something.
Yeah, anything you can think of. If you want to try to make it for us, that'd be great.
GIF, that's the word.
GIF. Why'd you say it like that?
Oh,
GIF.
Okay. I saw this post. I don't remember where, but it was just this like sentence, just this vile sentence saying, "I want to name both of my children GIF or is JIF one of the two? No, it's GIF. Yeah, I want to name like my children GIF, but one of them is pronounced GIF and one of them is pronounced GIF.
Oh my god.
Just like it's spelled the same way, but one is GIF and one is GIF.
That's like ultimate social experiment.
It is.
Which one is going to be the most hated?
But like their middle names is like how they're pronounced, like they're spelled how they're pronounced.
Oh my god.
Like when there's like Google things, and I don't know, like textbook writing down, and there's so many. It's so like English literature like spelling, linguistics, very interesting. But no, you had to spell them GIF both ways.
And they're just pronounced GIF or GIF.
I remember the first time I read that, like my brain automatically like said out loud GIF and GIF, even though they're both spelled the same way, because I knew what they were talking about, you know. But
what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something.
Oh yeah, English, like there's certain like letters with like how stuff is pronounced in English, and like it's all like there's a whole like there's lore behind it.
Okay, here's the reason I can debunk whether people say GIF or GIF. It's a graphics card, not a graphics card.
Yeah.
It's a G.
Well, it's called like what is it? What does it stand for?
Oh, I know this. Fuck. I know this. I'm trying not to Google it. Do you know what it stands for?
No. I've heard of it obviously, but I don't.
I have too. I know exactly what it stands for. Damn it! I'm gonna have to Google it.
Well, okay.
What?
We need like the music for the transition for like Zenith's Dreamtime, like a little like
Damn it!
Like,
I knew it was that.
version.
Graphics interchange format.
Graphics interchange format. Yeah, GIF. Graphics. But apparently the creator of GIF said it was pronounced GIF. So
no, he did not.
Yes, he did. That's been a debate for a while. Like the creator said it was GIF.
Yeah,
like
you got less than 50 seconds. 50 seconds until.
Anyway, well, let me pull up my notes.
Real fast, but before we get on to that, I think what we're going to talk about next is how media and social media has changed languages a bit, in the sense of how we've gotten slang. I think that'll be pretty fun to talk about, and just how we use slangs in our friends and whatnot, and depending on how other people think of it.
So you're gonna have to read it now.
He did say it's
Oh
pronounced
my
Jif, but he's
gosh.
wrong. He is wrong.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
10 seconds.
So this.
No, you just moved the box.
Did I? Oh no. Did I? Oh shoot. Wait.
The aspect ratio is wrong. Okay, thank
It's
goodness.
fine, but. Uh-oh. Okay. I'm gonna have to do some finagling here.
Okay, real fast, before he gets on to his topic or his dream time,
Yeah.
Zenith has the most ugly screen format.
I have a second
It's
monitor
not-
that we found lying on the floor, and I said, "Ooh, I can use that."
And it's not 1080 by or it's not, what's the natural screen ratio? 1980 by 1080.
Yeah, 1980 by.
Or that sounds right.
1920 by 1080, I think.
1620? I don't know, but what is yours? Yours is like 480.
It's like it's like a number off too. Like one of them is a 9 or something. It's not even
Yeah.
like,
No, he's got like a percentage for his
Yeah.
screen display size, and I was like,
It's
why is
really
this
bad.
wrong on my end?
yeah, I was
Come to find out, it's because he's got this stupid aspect
it's a
ratio on his
really old
monitor.
I have to use like a DVI cable or something to hook it up to my PC. I can use I can use HDMI, but like I already have that plugged up, you know.
Yeah.
So I just have that. Anyway, time for Zenith's dream time. So this revolves around Better Call Saul for some reason. And by the way, I have a note on my notes saying I would be really surprised if you remember any of this, because this is just paraphrase basically. So it starts off with Saul Goodman and Kim Wexler in the kitchen. If you don't know those characters, boohoo. But
I don't know those characters.
they're in the kitchen, and I guess all of a sudden a portal opens from the kitchen, and it's like a version of Saul Goodman from the future, like with, it's like, he has like a plague doctor mask on or something. I don't remember, but he's from the future, and I guess that's how my brain represented the future. And it cuts to like him in the future, and he's flying through the air, whatever. There's flying cars and stuff like that, and now all of a sudden like timelines start getting screwed up, and now I'm on a bus, like a school bus, but it's like public transportation, it has nothing to do with school, and we're heading to some sort of store or something, and I'm on the bus with some, I think it was like, they had to be 13. They had it was darker brown girl, and it was a girl as well. Yeah. And we're talking about how time worked in her realm, and it was like, there was only 3 months. It was like June, July, and August, and there was like it was always summer or something like that. And I was like, that's not how calendars work. And now I'm in a store, and I'm talking to the person who scans your items. What are they called?
The cashier.
A cashier. Yeah. And I'm talking to the cashier, and it was like some maybe 20-year-old white woman, like brown hair and a ponytail. And it might have been Walmart, but the store was unnamed in the dream. And for some reason, like I was trying to look up what my calendar, like I was curious if the internet worked like in as the same way it would like in my world, right? And so I was trying to look up what a calendar looked like. But instead of every time I looked up calendar, instead of getting a calendar, I got very suggestive pictures of Sonic.
Oh?
And I was trying to scroll through that. I'm like, no, I don't want to see this. And I was like bawling my eyes out. But anyway, now we're out on the street for some reason, and like future Saul Goodman was getting arrested. No, normal Saul Goodman. Saul Goodman, in general, was getting arrested, and I was like in the car, and I was texting the cop or something, and I was like, all right, I can let you through, right? Like trying to pull over, and for some reason, it took me like 7 times. I forgot how to spell through, and I was trying to text him. It took like 7 times trying to figure out how to spell through. I don't think I ever spelled it right. Anyway, but I couldn't. By the way, like I couldn't let him pass until I spelled through correctly. So it was like the magic word. I was stuck in the cop's way until I could spell through. And I guess I finally spelled it right. They go speeding off, and now I'm like from a camera's point of view. right? And they get to this like big like courthouse basically. And now all of the sudden it's like it's this new case, and it's Goodman versus White. So it's Saul Goodman versus Walter White. But this is present day Saul Goodman, I think. And they were like talking code on their walkie talkies or whatever. And now we're in this like big like big room. No, it's this smaller room. And Paige walks in there from Better Call Saul, and Saul Goodman was there, and Kim Wexler. Walter White is just gone now. I don't know where he went. And now all of a sudden, there's this announcement that comes in from the radio, like Saul's radio, and it's the police going, "There's flying cars coming in through portals," and now there's flying cars coming in through portals, and now all of a sudden, like the timeline starts collapsing in on ourselves, like on itself, and portals start flying around, like opening, basically ripping it, like tearing through time and space, right? And now all of the timelines are mixing up, and how my brain thought of timeline mixing up was the first thing that came to my mind was Star Wars, I guess. And now all of the characters from Star Wars were swapping places, and like all of a sudden Luke was in Rey's place, like in completely different like timelines, right? And characters that weren't even alive were in different like settings. And now all of a sudden it's these different characters walking up this mound. I don't have this here. It just says Star Wars scene. I'm trying to remember this. I think it switches through characters like Darth Vader, except he's on the light side, so he's wearing white instead of black, and he has like blue on his like mask or whatever. And then it switches to Leia, and then it's like what's his name? Mace Windu, Yoda, and it's switching through all these characters. But now it's Leia, and she's really short and old. She's like Leia taking the place of Yoda, walking up this mound, and we walk into the hole, and it switches through a bunch of characters, and it basically ends up being Mace Windu. So the room like lights up as purple, and all of a sudden, since all of the things had settled, we had gone back to like the courtroom, right? And all of a sudden, Kim Wexler goes, "What if I just stop thinking about the portals?" So all the portals start closing. and
what?
And so all the portals start closing, except these two big portals. These were the main portals. One was blue, one was orange, because portal. And we couldn't shut one of the portals for some reason. And so like everything was being resolved except this one portal, and now we get sucked out into space. And apparently when you go to space, you turn into a zombie. So so now Kim Wexler basically goes, "Welp, I'm screwed," and she's a zombie, and she's like, "Well, I can only play one last game of Among Us."
What?
And so there's just like half of this scene is like, it's just like one last scene of Among Us in the shell ship, the first map or whatever. And it's just Kim Wexler running around as an astronaut through the ship. And all of a sudden it cuts back to the courtroom saying, "No, there's another way. What if I stop thinking about the portals harder?" And then all of the portals close. And now it cuts to the future now of like that timeline of this lunatic cultist, which is the stolen name from Terraria. And they have the Plague Doctor mask on. So by the way, okay, so Saul Goodman, the one from the future, he had a gas mask, not a Plague Doctor one. But the cultist, they had a Plague Doctor mask on, and like a white robe and a hood over. And we're in this kind of like everything's made out of foam, and there's like tall foam structures. We're in a big room with like white ceiling lights down. And like the lunatic cultist is walking around, and they're like making up these stories basically. That was just my dream, right? And now I'm in the movie theater with my dad, and we're like, and all of a sudden it cuts to like saying like, Kim Wexler was actually the lunatic cultist in the future, and they made up all of these stories, and that's why the timeline loops or whatever. And then now it's my English 9 teacher in the front. Now I'm in class, and my English 9 teacher from freshman year was saying, "No, this is wrong," and then they present their own theory, and then I had actually ended up waking up. But when I woke up, I don't remember what the theory was. I'm like, that's BS. That theory's wrong. Like,
That theory is
the
wrong.
theory's wrong, and I know why. And then I'm thinking to myself, it was a dream. Why am I getting mad? That was my dream. Yeah.
See, what I want to know is how in the world are you able to vividly remember all of your dreams?
I wrote it down.
I mean, yeah, you can
Yeah.
write down your dreams, but even I can't remember my dreams that well. Like, what the hell?
I
Yeah,
don't
like
know.
why with theories in this dream?
Yeah, there was
But it's
theories
just
and
a theory.
that took
A
10 minutes, by the way,
game
to explain.
theory.
There was that hurt my brain to think about. I had to like go back. I did remember all of it. Most of it. I didn't remember the theory. But that is what, oh my gosh, my brain is now fried. Oh, I had to
I
go back and
wonder
remember
why.
that. But yeah, it was a very interesting dream. I think the dream consisted around like 1 to 2 hours. And I summed it up in like 10 minutes. There was a lot of other like details in there that I had forgotten.
Oh, there were there?
Yeah. I had forgotten it. It's gone. It's lost forever in time. I wish I could make like a movie, like a short little movie. There's like with these characters in it, like real life movie, just all of these effects in it and stuff like that were with like what my dream was.
Fuck, I don't even know how you remembered like the first like 10 minutes of your dream, let alone this whole like episodic series.
Yeah. It was in parts too, yeah. Oh
Like,
my gosh.
that is absurd to me that you're able to do that. Props
Yeah.
to you, but oh my god.
Well, even in my notes I said I'd be surprised if you remember it. Next time I'm gonna write out a script.
Well, you have much better memory or dream memory than I do.
Because they're interesting, so I wake up thinking about it.
Well, hell yeah, they're interesting.
Anyway.
Who needs the Midnight Milk podcast when you've got Zenith Dreamtime?
Yeah. So the reason why I wanted Dreamtime is because last time I had done the podcast by myself, 30 minutes of it was me talking about like 2 other dreams I'd had.
We do need to make a movie off of it. Movie? This could just be a Better Call Saul season.
Literally, I had just written this script of like a new Better Call Saul season 7 is coming out. Anyway, actually, God, I saw this post. I don't remember, but this was like an old post of like, they were like, yeah. So during lockdown, I had started writing scripts and I started sending it to all my friends. And they're like, never give up on your dreams, guys. And there was an email he had gotten from Netflix itself, right? And like a not Netflix, but it was like a worker at Netflix saying, they're like, I love your scripts, like the tension, the action, the everything. It's great, except for the part of this is just the script from Die Hard, except the title is the title is changed. It was Funny Man Does the Shooty Shooty Bang Bang.
Sounds like something you would write, Zenith.
And then at the end it said, "Never contact me again." What a heartfelt email.
Zenith, I think that's just you. Like, you wrote that. Tell me you didn't.
It was me in an alternate timeline. I had written that.
It was you in a dream that wrote an email.
Yeah.
You don't remember that dream.
I don't remember that dream. That actually happened in an alternate timeline, that dream.
Yeah.
Anyway, while I'm explaining my dreams, you need to be thinking about the next like transition.
I've got a transition.
Okay, go on.
Oh shit, you meant like right now?
Yeah, well, what else are we supposed to be talking about?
We'll start at 30. How about that?
At 30. Okay, what are we talking about now?
Dreams, I guess.
Dreams, I
Seems
guess.
pretty prevalent.
Well,
so
my brain's fried, so you're gonna have to talk.
I don't know about you, but I'll usually do this thing every so often, and I will just try to forget I exist. That sounds really weird.
What?
And what I mean by that is I will literally try my hardest to separate my mind from my body. I will
Ugh.
try to make it think. I will try to make myself think that my body does not exist.
Isn't that called meditation?
I guess,
I think
but
that's what that is, Storm.
I'll just do that for like 3 hours straight, and then
Ugh.
I like open my eyes, and I'm like, oh, okay, and
Well,
then I
that's
sleep.
called sleeping.
No, I'm awake. I'm fully conscious.
Just like separating, like you can't feel anything around you.
Yeah,
No, yeah, that's called meditating.
I guess. I don't know.
I guess.
I guess.
Come on, transition, Storm, transition.
Not time yet. No, I'm not. I'm a good boy. I don't do drugs.
uh,
The
yeah,
only drugs
I've
I do is my medication and allergy medicine every morning
I've never done a bad drug before
that you can think of.
that I can remember.
What are you trying to say, Zenith? Are you saying that you may have been a bad boy at one point?
I don't. Well, maybe I wouldn't remember. It's so
Maybe.
funny. I was explaining this to Storm earlier and to Inks as well, where I'm like, no, and Garcello earlier. No, I was explaining this to Garcello, not you.
Garcello?
Yeah, soccer. Oh yeah, by the way, Garcello says hi.
What?
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that.
Aw.
I was like, I need to go talk to Storm now because we're gonna watch my Dallas catalog, and then he's like, say Storm, tell Storm that I said hi. I was like, okay, I will.
See, for the people that know Garcello, me and Garcello are like in love. We are.
Yeah.
We are. It's very
What did he
complicated.
tell me? He was like, oh yeah, me and Storm have like private time all the time. I think that's what he said.
Yeah. Yeah, we do all the time.
I said, you stay away from my Storm.
Guys, they fight for me all the time.
I think I said, I was like, well, never mind. Storm's just a player, that goofball.
That goofball! I'm such a goofball.
He plays all the time. He plays a little too much.
Can I say I'm just a player?
Anyway, I was explaining to him, like, I'm one of those people now. I'm one of those people now where I'm like, I say that, oh, I don't like drama, and then I'm actually not involved in drama.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen.
No.
But it's because, and here, I was talking to English about this, and there was someone who didn't like them, and I'm not gonna like list it here because, you know, just for their sake, but they're like, they were on their Discord server, and they were on their banned list, right? And they were like, and I was like, I think this person's on my friends list. I was like, why are they on your banned list? And they're like, oh, they're such a bad person because, and I hate them because, and so,
because
and I remember I was like, oh, that's very interesting, and then I forgot the next day. Because I'm friends with a lot of people, and now that I think Mason's starting to snuff out, I have a lot of friends on VR chat, and being friends with like almost an entire like fucking community, people hate each other, right? People don't like each other. People have each other on their block list, and so they come into the same instance, and they're like, oh, this person's here, and I go, oh yeah,
this person's here.
Like I'm just like, like I don't have a single person's on my block list because I think it's more of a power move if anything. Because like with the people that I did have on my block list were kids that I didn't want to deal with at the time. Because like, you know, they can.
I remember he was like, oh, "There's someone on my block list." Yeah. No.
But they're probably just screaming in my ear, and then I muted them, and then they started waving in my face, and then I just blocked them because I was like, oh, whatever. But whatever. Now I'm never gonna do that again. I'm just gonna like, I don't know, give them the finger or something. But
I don't know, move up.
But whenever people don't like me, they block me, and I don't have to deal with them anymore.
Yeah.
So they already do all the work for me, you know.
I don't think I've ever been blocked.
But you know what? Yes, you have. You know what though?
I have.
Of course you have. You remember me telling? You remember saying? I remember you saying something.
No, I don't remember.
But anyway,
you know the one.
Yeah.
No, in fact, I don't remember that.
But yeah. So
tell me after the podcast. I don't remember who.
I don't remember who either.
Oh, I thought you were just doing that as a joke, like.
No, I don't remember.
Then who blocked me?
You say, oh, this person blocked me. I'm like, people block you? They're like, I guess so.
Oh, well, let me rephrase it then. I don't get blocked very often.
I had this really funny argument with my dad, okay? Okay, so we were doing this Minecraft project at our school, by the way. This new history teacher came in, and he had prompted to the history department, one other teacher, for world history, that we were learning about like medieval times, right? And we had a Minecraft project. Instead of coming in with like glued cardboard together and like last minute spray paint, right? We had done the project in Minecraft where we had 4 different like castles that we could build.
That's cool as
like
fuck.
Stone Gate or Stone Keep or whatever, or concrete. And I built the Mont and Bailey because it was made out of wood, and I knew how to build like wooden structures, right, in houses and stuff like that. Anyway, I ended up doing the entire build by myself, and I did half the research. There's one other person in my group that actually did his job. The other guy was like, "Oh, I want to be the main builder," and then he didn't build a single thing. No, he did build one thing, and it looked like crap. And then we had like an architect that was supposed to make a blueprint. He didn't do that. But I think he was like high the majority of the class.
Damn.
So anyway, I did like everything by myself, and I don't remember where I was going with this. What was I talking about earlier? Oh yeah, so our teacher, right, said we had to record this thing called a Flipgrid, where we record a video and our classmates could see it.
Oh my god, a Flipgrid! I did one of those.
The tour of our castle, right? And it was due Wednesday, and our teacher said, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be off Wednesday because we had a Thanksgiving break, right?" So this was on a Monday, right? So we had Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, right? Tuesday.
Wait, how long was your Thanksgiving break?
It started Tuesday and it ends today.
Oh,
or sorry, it started Wednesday. My bad. So we had another school of Tuesday, and then which is when everyone did their video, right? Because apparently for the other teacher, and he created the Flipgrid, it was due Tuesday for them. So I couldn't create the Flipgrid, and it was Wednesday. So I got up to my dad and I was like, because we were gonna go to the Pacers game that day, which is our basketball team for India, and he was like, I was like, yeah, I was due today, but like I can't record the Flipgrid, and apparently like you're supposed to do it yesterday. I was complaining to him, and he goes, well, sounds like you procrastinated and you're gonna do it last minute. I'm like, it's not last minute. I have 6 more hours, right? And he goes, well, now it like apparently it is, and he goes, well, apparently you should have done it Tuesday. And I go, no, my teacher said it was due Wednesday, and they're like, well, that doesn't mean you have to do it last minute. I said, actually, you know, my teacher said you guys are going to be on break on Wednesday, so it would be a great idea to do it on Wednesday. And I said, you know what? That does sound like a great idea. Just like
that does sound like a good idea.
I should have this kind of like arguments more often. It's so funny. Where I'm just like I'm like half screaming, but I'm just like in the most stupid ways.
Well, actually, I think it'd be a good idea.
I feel like my favorite phrase to do that in conversations where they're like, oh, it's not like that, and I go, it is.
It is like that though.
Just it is. I love that. Anyway,
it is though. Anyway,
something's vibrating in my room, and I don't know what it is. Like a phone. My phone's not. Okay. You have a transition to do.
I do have a transition
to do.
We had
lost, by the way, all of our viewers because you didn't want to do your transition.
No, that is not true. It's that you took over 5 more minutes.
Oh my! I took 3 more minutes.
Okay, you took 3 more minutes, but we lost all of our viewers because of that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they're still here. It's just really, it doesn't display it. Anyway, now that we have about an hour, or just under an hour, I would say about like 40 minutes or so until we decide to close things off. Why don't we go ahead and get back into this after we've just done our Zenith's, what is it called?
Dream time.
Yeah, Zenith's Dream Time. Why don't we go ahead and get back into something that I had suggested right before, which was how once you get into a social group, you kind of gain some new vocabulary that you didn't think you were going to gain before, and how media and social media has given us certain words that we either lost to time or certain phrases that we've kind of just made over the time. I know some phrases that have been coming back a lot are very old phrases in words, like flummoxed and befuddled.
What?
Have you never heard those two words?
No. I've heard of baffled and buffooned and like what's the other word I'm thinking of? I don't know. It's like something along those lines.
Befuddled,
Flabbergasted.
flabbergasted,
Yeah.
and like you would never ever hear those words come back ever again.
Yeah.
But now we're in a. It's so interesting that we will just randomly hear these words, and now they're immediately in our vocabulary.
Yeah.
I know one word that I single-handedly brought back. Me and myself
can
only.
Single-handedly bring it back.
I single-handedly brought the word. I single-handedly.
That's actually how me and Storm met, by the way.
single-handedly brought the word swag back.
Me and Storm, like our first ever interaction before we actually knew each other.
Literally the first interaction
was our argument in a Discord server on who's the swaggiest person.
I won this debate.
Yeah, that is not how that went.
I won.
I wish that Discord server was still up just so I could check the messages.
I won.
I was the last person who messaged. I remember that much.
Nope. I was the one who finally and once and for all won that debate.
Is not what happened. Anyway, you were literally like swag princess in that server, and I was swag king.
No, and the only reason for that was because you kept switching it.
No, I remember a message of you saying, "Actually, I'm fine with this."
No,
I can pull that back in our DMs. I can find that and pull it back. I have a screenshot of it actually.
No, he's got proof. He's got proof.
I won. I have a screenshot. I have evidential proof.
No, but this is a different experience. Let's go back to the first debate we ever had. First debate we ever had, I won. And I know this. I let you have. I let you have that.
What were we saying?
I can't remember.
Oh my God.
Phrases
on the internet.
Phrases on the internet.
Yeah, internet does shape our language in many ways, though, and it's kind of interesting to think about.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why we have a lot of slang now that comes from the internet. Like, I can't think of one because I don't use any of them because I'm not cringe. There we go, cringe.
Oh my God, yeah.
By the way, for a while until I just kept saying it because I didn't care. Because cringe is a word that mainly came from the internet because the internet is cringe. But that word for a while now, I had heard it so much to the point, I think it's because kids were screaming at the top of their lungs. To the point where the word cringe became cringe, except for the fact that there is a certain emotion that you feel that there is no other word to describe the emotion besides cringe. And like disgusting doesn't like describe it in the right sense. You know, cringe just has so much meaning. And so like it's like I had to, you know, you just have to start saying it. But
and then you're upset that you have to keep saying it.
Yeah, but I'm just used to it now because there's no other adjective that fits that context.
Yeah, there's no other word that would like make sense in that what's the word I'm looking for? In that context?
Okay. Crazy thing. References from the internet is a crazy concept because like I guess in a school setting, right? It could be, I don't know how old these viewers are, but it could be in a work setting or something. We have any interaction with someone else, right? And it could be from TV, it could be from YouTube, from Twitter, from any social media. And there is this reference that starts going around, or this joke, this inside joke that starts going with a certain community, right? And all of the, like, you say it out loud because it's like, you know, maybe you talk about it with your online friends or something, right? And you just say it out loud as an automatic thing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, someone else in that room, like in that classroom, understands what you're talking about.
And you just like shit your pants.
That's crazy to think about. Of someone saw like funny like pixels move onto their screen in a certain way, or had certain vibrations come through their speakers, right? That told them this reference that someone made across the globe, right? That someone created across the globe. And now both of you understand that.
Yeah. Like, and you like and you just look at him and you're like, I can't be disgusted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're just like ashamed that you both know it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that reminds me. Oh, someone at my school was like, I remember you had an Undertale, and I was shh. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, zip it.
It's
And they're like,
cringe fandom.
and I was like, yes, I did. And they were like, I did too. And I'm like, I know. Don't let people know of this heresy.
Yeah, it's like the same vibe, but not as bad as like if you say someone was into My Hero, then just
Yeah.
the room drops into silence.
Like,
I'm
you
not
don't
into My
want-
Hero. I'm gonna throw that out there. I'm not. But it's the same vibe as like someone who's like, oh, like
I don't know, Zenith, the way you said that.
I met someone so there's this like Bone Lab YouTuber that like blew up or whatever it is, whatever. And actually I joined like his Discord server, and I started joining Discord servers of YouTubers that I watch, like smaller YouTubers, and I try to become familiar with them just to prove to people, first off, like having fear of these random online people is entirely pointless because it's just a person.
Yeah.
And second off, just to prove of like it's easy to become like well known, right? Not popular, but well known. That's kind of like the point
Exactly.
I'd like to be at. So I joined this VC with this relatively whatever YouTuber, right? And then like I join, and the conversation goes as, boom, oh my gosh, it's Zenith. Yeah, boom, and that's it. that is the entire conversation,
Ba-dum.
right? And it's just because it's like that's how I am around people, I guess. But it's like you have these nice conversations with these people. You make some funny joke. They remember you the next time you join the VC. And
Yeah.
and here's this person that I saw. Their videos were funny. I joined the server, and I'm like, hey, this guy's cool, right? And then, boom. I'm like, that's so weird to me. I don't remember. I had something going with this. Something with Undertale. It was a side thing. I met someone who was involved with Undertale on that server. I'm like, oh my gosh, someone who's not a child that likes Undertale. And it, like, my mind just blew up. What was I gonna say? Oh, so this is not related, but this is kind of where I was heading before. There was a Memento and Mori were two different videos made by Mark and Ethan, and they had created this channel, if you don't know, called Unis Honest, and the premise of it was
don't speak of that name.
It's
dead.
No, it's the point of the channel, which was this channel that had it had this timer in every single intro and outro of when the channel was going to be deleted, and it lasted exactly 1 year. And their phrase was "Memento Mori." It was just like, I think, Latin for remember death, right? And it wasn't supposed to be existential in that sort of sense. It's just to tell you that everything has an expiration date, right? Everything has an end to it, and just like remember that, But that was the whole point. They did stupid skits. They had like whatever lore they had, right? And they just had like stupid stuff in there. And after that,
it was literally just a channel for both of these two really big creators.
Yeah.
Just do whatever they wanted. And they did it. They uploaded a video every single day.
Until its death.
Until 1 year later.
The last video was them like a live stream of them, like until the timer counted down.
And I watched that whole thing.
I think I got 3/4 the way through it, stopped watching it, and then watched the final live stream.
I got screenshots from I got a screenshot from when it was at its last hour.
Yeah, but the point of it is there could be all of these re-uploads of the channel, right? But the point being of like the actual experience of the channel being there during its lifetime is a once in a lifetime experience. You know, you can't. There's a lot of people from Unis Honest, and I'm just basically paraphrasing of what that Memento Mori video was about, because there's a video of them 2 years later talking about Unis Honest, right? But it was two of them in opposite corners of a room, one with a white background, one with a black background. But it was two separate recorded videos. And what you would do is you would put one video on one monitor and one video on the other, and you would play both of them at the same time, and it's like one video. Right?
Really?
Or you could split the screen. Yeah, it's like one video. It's the same amount of time, and it's them having a conversation.
I haven't watched all of them yet. I haven't watched either one of them yet.
Yeah. But if you watch them separately, it's just one guy talking to himself. Is what it looks like.
I'll watch it after this.
Anyway, and it's just them talking about like their remembrance of Unus Annus. But what they found really funny was that I think it was like a viewer had talked to them before or whatever, of some people, they walk through the streets and they have like Unus Annus merch, right? And they walk through the streets, they see the hoodie, and they just give them a nod. And then they walk on. That's that's an extreme of references of just like of this channel that they remember. And I see some people like in my school who has like Unus Annus merch,
And I literally envy them because I never got a hoodie.
I didn't want to buy one. I don't buy YouTuber merch just because I don't like being affiliated with what I watch. I don't know. It's kind of like
Unus Annus would be one of those things that I was like super like uber into, like the concept of it. Just like I was infatuated with that concept. Infatuated with that concept. It was so unbelievably like cool to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's never been done. It has not once been done until Unus Annus, and that has literally been it. Other people might try to recreate it, but I don't think it is ever going to have the same everlasting effect that Unus Annus has.
And the thing is that like the point that they made in that video is anybody could do it.
Yeah.
People could recreate it and just have like similar energy,
But it will never, ever be the same.
Yeah.
Everyone will know what it was derived from. And you know what they're going to feel? They might feel some sort of nostalgic, like they'll feel some sort of nostalgia from it, but they're going to be thinking, oh, this is not this channel. This is Unus Annus Part 2 or whatever,
Yeah.
They're just going to be like, oh, this is what I remember. But it's never going to be the same. It is never going to be the first effect that it had.
That's why I love saying like the Midnight podcast is just like Unus Annus 2, but like younger. Because it's like Storm is Korean with a middle part and deep voice and like kind of wavy hair, don't you?
Yeah.
And
I've got white person hair. I've got white person curly hair and wavy hair with the long black straight Asian hair.
Yeah.
It's a good mix.
I look like Ethan in a sense where I'm like pale white. I have
the
front
standard white boy.
Yeah, the front facing curly poofy hair, and sometimes my voice sounds like a child. Like it's perfect. That's what his voice sounds like. His voice, he had somehow not hit puberty yet, but he's like 25.
You.
Me?
No,
is my voice not deep enough, Storm?
No.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I always quote the Mark, I'm tired. I want an otter pop.
It's so funny.
I'm gonna go inside now. I want an otter pop.
It was so. Most of those videos, like a lot of the videos, was just like Ethan making Mark going into some unfuelable rage state, like pissing him off so much. And I was wondering, I'm like, is this channel gonna keep going before they like kill each other? Or sorry, before Mark kills Ethan.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think this is a little one-sided.
But it was like scary to watch. He would get so angry, and like Ethan would just keep going, just keep pissing him off. Like 1 mile mark.
Always says 1 mile mark. 1 mile mark.
And he would just get so pissed, and he'd like punch a wall. And then the next video was like, so I heard on the internet that you can fill a hole in the wall with ramen. So
I didn't mean to get angry.
Yeah.
I just was excited. I was pumped up, and then you kept saying that line over and over again, and I lost my cool. And like the visible fear on Ethan's face as he's just like, oh my God. This very strong man just punched
It's like a drama TV show.
It is!
Anyway, we're just sitting here talking about Unus Annus.
I love how we've just gone on this rant
Oh yeah. I was gonna talk about something about that server. Oh, I remember. In that server, right in the YouTuber server, the guy was in the voice channel, and there was also the guy who like knew about Undertale. It was because he was playing Red Megalovania on his kazoo. Which
Red?
Red Megalovania. It's Dust theme.
Oh.
I asked him, by the way, I was like, is that like the Pokemon Red theme or is that Red Megalovania? He's like, shit, someone knows. And then he starts playing like explaining the lore of like Undertale I used.
Oh.
Because like
Yeah, I'm not that big of a
because
nerd.
nobody got the reference. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I just started doing like for some reason I have two like fallback voices when it comes to mocking people. It's Kermit and Squidward. Not as much as Kermit, but I remember when I was playing Binding of Isaac before, like with my friends, like they would like they would say something and I'd mock them by going, and they'd go, that kind of sounds like Kermit. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even realize. I'm like, fuck, I can do Kermit. I didn't like that's how Kermit was born, by the way. And then Squidward, I just mock people like, "Oh, you're an idiot, you," right? So one time I was like doing that, like I guess just mocking someone, like, "Oh," they're like, "Why is that so good?" And I'm like, "Oh, man, I made your voice
I don't know.
impressions and
I'm
stuff."
just
And they're
making
like,
fun of you.
"Oh my gosh, like you're like, why do I keep meeting talented people?" I'm like, that is, playing VR chat isn't a talent.
I don't know. I speak weird sometimes.
I speak weird sometimes. I thought it was a really funny concept. I it's so weird to think like calling, the concept of calling. You're sitting there with a brick in your or really thin brick in your hand, with it up to your like your ear, and you're listening to vibrations in the phone as you are communicating back to your brick, and that is sending messages across the entire earth, right? Like millions of miles, not millions, a lot of miles away, from where you're standing, and you're just like communicating with them. Like that's so weird to me. Like how does your phone create that message so where it translates to across the entire earth?
Well, I think it's a little more interesting when you're talking to someone in person. Because you have got two conscious beings
Yeah.
that are able to understand each other because your body is vibrating in such a way that it is now legible and you are able to construct your own theories on what it is they are saying, and you can have a active conversation through
And it
that.
could be taken in both ways. And the fact that people study, which some people like in a movie, right? Like, what does this mean? Right? In a video game or a movie, where like some actor says something and he speaks this way, right? And they're like, no, what does he mean by when he says this sentence? Right? Like it could be taken in so many different ways, right? It's not just it's
Exactly.
not direct telecommunication, it's not direct like telepathy is what I'm trying to say. Um it's just you make a noise and then someone construes it in their own way.
That's what I'm saying, man.
And you can also do that across the globe. There was this one video where there was this guy in Australia, or like this guy in, it was directly like they'd done the math on directly the other side of the globe, right? And they had grabbed two pieces of bread and they put it on the floor at the same time and say
And made it a
and
Earth sandwich.
made an earth sandwich. Yeah.
Zenith, you want to make a state sandwich?
A state sandwich? I don't. That's not how that works.
Nope.
You were like practically on the same level as me.
Yep.
Maybe like 100 miles of
Wanna make
elevation.
You want to make a mountain sandwich?
A mountain sandwich, like two sides of the mountain.
Yeah.
The bread is guaranteed to like be tilted down almost.
Hey, man.
Like
You,
you need to find a
usually
perfectly
might
vertical,
spill some out.
perfectly vertical wall. Perfectly vertical like wall side of the mountain, or you just etch a side.
Just gotta etch it yourself, and it's like a
Yeah.
perfect bread sliced a hole in a mountain.
Gosh, I remember, and I still say this, like, I don't know, and my relatives could be listening. By the way, like my relatives could be listening to these podcasts at any point. It's kind of crazy to think about. Of like,
And
well,
all
now
they
they
can
know,
think
like,
is, Why is my grandson talking to this 35-year-old man?
Yeah. Do you know how many people ask that? Like my teachers have watched this podcast saying like, "Are you sure this man's not 20, 30 something?" And I'm like, "I hope not."
I hope not.
I can only guess, but it's an educated guess, you see. But saying these kind of like, I don't even remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something stupid and say, "Oh yeah, my parents are watching, by the way."
Oh yeah, my mom's in here. Say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
That was a dumb joke. That was a dumb joke, and I'm gonna let you sit on that. I'm gonna let you sit on that. I'll let you reflect.
I laugh at the stupidest things, bro.
Do. It's funny.
It's funny.
It's funny.
That's too funny.
That's too funny.
Quite comical, actually. Wow.
I love how we have been able to make a quote unquote podcast.
We are literally just NPCs like spouting lines to each other and going, haha, funny.
Funny.
That like
and
only
then
we
like
would get.
and then occasionally somebody will be like, "What's happening here?" And go, I don't know.
We haven't figured that part out yet. We haven't gotten that far.
Yeah.
So we
haven't gotten to the end.
14 minutes left.
Yeah, roughly about.
What's a closing topic? Yeah. On your head.
Friends we have made. Okay, so at some point I want to come back to this podcast. There's so much more that I definitely feel that we could have talked about and that we have just not talked about.
Online presence, part 2, baby.
That will happen at some point. Okay. I know it will.
At some point.
But let's see. I know something that we can like end it on, and then something we can talk about later is what we have done to get friends. Like we've talked about experiences that we've had with friends, but we've never actually really discussed what it's like to make these friends.
To make online friends. Well, yeah, first off, I had dropped my voice an octave, and then I had put on. Anyway,
well, I know for me, I got told I sounded like Swagger Souls.
Oh yeah.
Or
well, I mean, sometimes I guess but if you were drunk, could see this. But
hey, yo, we pimp jumping.
No.
Oh, my B-reel went off.
It's the fact that you can like vibrations come through literally like audio devices, and it shapes your entire personality. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Like that's what some people base you off of.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I will say is that if you want to truly know someone, I want to say that one of the best ways to do that is through online. Here's why. And I don't mean just through through texting.
Yeah.
Especially if you can do it through VR. Here's why. You get to truly understand someone, and if you want to call them your best friend, or even sort of relationship with someone online, that means that you are truly devoted to who they are and not through who they are visually.
Mm-hmm.
You only
go on.
And I mean, yes, you can also voice or video call and whatnot, but if you were to start a relationship without ever seeing their face online, and I feel like you can truly learn to love someone through that, just because you've learned your experiences through them. You've only experienced with them, not through means of
body language.
Let's say, yeah, you don't learn it through body language. And now that can be really unfortunate to some people because that may be one of their love languages, or that may be one of the ways they learn through someone. Mm-hmm. But if you can truly cut that out, and this is a test of mind and will, right? If you take the time and the devotion to get rid of what is a very crucial part of a relationship, that I would say,
57% or something like that.
Exactly. And I mean, go figure. It's one of your main senses, and you would hope that your partner would be able to, satisfy all of your senses, right?
Yeah.
And not in every way, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
But if they could, that would just mean that you are attracted to them even more. But if you can cut out almost 50% of what a lot of people would consider to be a healthy relationship with physical touch and affection through that way, and you can truly like someone through who they are as a person without really seeing who they are, interacting them with them besides through your own voice and just being you, I think that means that you truly like someone,
I
right?
want to agree and disagree. First off, I want to agree in the sense of saying I thought where you're going is that, and this can apply to like talking to someone through school, and then coming home and even talking to them through your phone, right? And this could apply to this, is you know a lot more about someone when they are sitting there talking to you when they're comfortable in their own home, where they're comfortable to say more things, they're comfortable to speak their mind, right? That tells a lot about someone as well. But B, you can't lie through body language as easy.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that aspect of your life, it tells you a lot about a person through body language because you could only display certain things on the internet that you want to. And now not it's very hard to do that as well. It's very hard to lie about your entire life. And very rarely do you see someone building all of these sorts of relationships through voice and stuff like that. For that long, they would have to be a psychopath, and that's an entirely different story, right?
Yeah.
But what was I going to say? But like body language is very important because it's very hard to lie through body language. What else was I going to say? I think that was it.
It's just I would suggest to people that if you don't have an online presence and you don't really want one, some point in your life, if it not be right now, if it be later in the future where, you settle down, just try to talk to someone online. Get to know them, not romantically or anything, but just like find some online friends. It really opens your eyes to what it is, what it's like to know someone, right? It gives you a new aspect of what it's like for other people that have to have a relationship through online, or what it's like. What?
You finish your sentence.
But it's like you get to experience what it's like to have friends that you'll never really, or you might never see in person, or just people that you get to hang out with that you just learn from experience, from what they talk to you about, what they decide to talk to you about, what they show you through their own language.
I want to say that instead of saying that you really know a person, I think you know a person differently through online, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Is because, like, again, same thing if you were to meet them at school or something and then talk to them while you're home, right? Then you learn a lot more about a person with the whole comfortable being in their home thing. But also, when you have met someone online and you meet up with them in real life, you meet a lot more about them as well because of them not being comfortable in their own home.
Yeah.
And the same thing. There's actually an entire Netflix series with Kevin Hart being the main character, of the whole premise being you don't truly know what a person's like until they're backed up against a wall with nothing to defend themselves.
Yeah.
As in not physically, but metaphorically, right?
Yeah.
Where they are put in a situation where there's not an immediate answer. They are put in a life-threatening situation, and how do they act? How do they go throughout their day, right? Or do they start becoming an asshole? Do they become really quiet, right? How do they deal with the situation, right? And I'm not going to spoil I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you should go watch it. I think it's called The True Story. I think that's the name of it.
That's one of the reasons me and Zenith are so close. I'm not going to get into specifics, of course. As to like what we've experienced.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've only known each other for what, like a year now?
A year.
It's over a year, I know that. But it's
I'm a year and a couple months.
Yeah. July was 1 year, right?
So
June or July was 1 year. But we have been through a lot in 1 year.
Online.
Online, at least. Let's just say that. Now,
scary place.
It is a really scary place.
Yeah, it's just scary.
But and I mean, funny enough, me and Zenith are not that far apart, apparently.
Yeah, it's like 2-hour drive.
Mm-hmm. And that's if one of us decides to go from one house to another.
Yeah.
But either way, we're not that far from each other, and I do think that one day we could meet up, right, Zenith?
I don't know.
I don't know. But we have definitely been through a lot. But that has also allowed us to.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say with the parent thing. Is that like I don't know how they take this, but I know how I perceived it. I've always been taught that having online friends were looked down upon by my parents, right? And which was so interesting because I remember I was having dinner with my mom because I hang out with my mom every Saturday. And I think it's a really nice thing to do. Hang out with a specific family member on a certain day or every week. Great. And sometimes, typically, we go out to eat. Sometimes we see a movie. Sometimes we went to Dave and Buster's once, which is an arcade. And I went and she was like, "So when are you gonna go see Storm?" And I was like, what? I was like so like baffled,
caught off guard.
She was like, "Yeah. So when are you gonna meet up with Storm?" And I was like, I hadn't thought about it that much. I was like if maybe when past high school, right, when I have my license, if I'm living on my own, right, have a situation like and that's the furthest, right? But maybe 16, have a car. That's a perfectly like reasonable situation to be in if both of our parents would allow us to, right? Yeah. And that's that kind of thing of like all of a sudden she says that, she's like, "Yeah, well, what about when you get your license?" I'm like, I didn't think I'd be allowed to. Like, I was always taught online friends are bad. They're gonna go to your house and they're gonna kill you. They're gonna do all these horrible things to you. It's kind of been drilled into my head.
And that's right. I will do that.
Yeah.
I've been 35 lying to you this whole time. I'm 35 years old.
Yeah.
I have a down payment on my home. I just paid off my car.
Well, and also, like, first off, if we meet up, there's most likely going to be a situation where we know each other's addresses. Yep. And so if I die, well, then here goes your address, I guess.
I'm gonna give you Xander's address. Yeah. Just like screw him over.
Then they would like go, because I mean that's federal shit, right? It's murder. They're gonna go to his house. They're gonna interrogate him, whoever's address you gave.
And he's gonna be like, "What are you talking about?
I don't know a Storm.
Who the hell is that?" But let's see. I know if I were to go to your house, it would be like if I went to like middle of Tennessee.
Yeah.
And that's to say if we don't like split the time in half and meet up like, I don't know, Santa Claus. Louisville. Yeah.
Because
that'd be like an hour.
Louisville. Yeah.
Wait, right. Louisville, yeah. I think that'd be like an hour drive.
Yeah, it's like an hour drive for me.
I don't know about for me though. I don't know. We'll do the math at some point.
At some point. Anyway. It's about the end of the podcast, and you started it, so I think I have to exit it. Just
exit
remember
it?
What?
Exit it.
Anyway, don't forget our thing. We're gonna do that after this podcast, Storm. This server. There's 3 things we need to talk about. That's one of those. But anyway. Yeah, that marks the end of this Midnight Milk podcast. I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's. Hopefully, if I don't have another flu, we will be here Saturday next week, 7:30 AST. That's around our time schedule now. And this will be uploaded like Wednesday, something. And yeah, so that has been a podcast. Go check out Twitch for all those YouTube peoples. Links in the description. And I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Midnight Milk Ride. See you on the next one.
See ya.